we will be talking about what education equity is and what we can do to ensure it. To start off, what is education equity? Equity means the quality of being fair and impartial, and education equity is the process of reforming policies and procedures to support academic fairness and inclusion. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, fairness and inclusion are the two dimensions of education equity, and are closely intertwined. Fairness is making sure that personal and social circumstances do not become an obstacle to achieving education potential. Similarly, inclusion is ensuring a basic minimum of education for all. Following these ideals help ensure that every child has everything they need to be successful. As stated in the previous slide, education equity is the process of reforming to support academic fairness and inclusion. It is achieved by giving specific resources and support to disadvantaged students. The individual attention and extra assistance bring disadvantaged students up to the same level as their peers. Education equality is a bit different as it focuses on providing the same resources and opportunities to all students. Regardless of whether one student needs more support than another, they receive the same amount of assistance. In the future, this may cause a gap in their education.
Let's look into problems that are associated with education equity. So financial difference can be a factor that causes people to receive different qualities of education. SAT score can be an example of this problem. This graph shows that there is a direct relationship between SAT scores and family income. As you can see from the graph, students with family income of 100,000 or more are more likely than twice as likely as students with family income under $50,000. To have combined SAT scores of 1,400 to 1,600. This leads to a conclusion that if parents want their children to do well on their SAT, they should be wealthy enough to provide an education that gives such results. A second factor that influences education equity is our society, which is racial discrimination. Unequal treatment is still happening in modern day schools, and most biggest and serious example is racial harassment. Consistent harassment may result in students to have negative attitudes, low performance, and low motivation, which would eventually increase risk of dropping out of school.
So moving forward, another major issue would be language barriers. Since there are a lot of non-fluent English speakers, it would cause them to go through a lot of struggle, like keeping up with their peers and their academics. And students struggle to express themselves, which can cause them to remain silent instead of attempting to communicate their struggle. And learning the language itself can be very challenging to many individuals, which adds on even more burden to the student. And overall, these secondary issues would negatively impact the student's academic career, like communication and self-esteem issues.
And now let's talk about some of the improvements that can be made from education equity. Compared to others, low-income families and minorities face difficulties in assessing quality education due to economic hardship, language barriers, prejudice, and bias. Improving education equity not only will give quality education to many people in need, but also it will help to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor in society. The sad truth to our current education is that it's divided by social classes and levels of income. According to the recent Time article, more than half of the nation's school children are in racially concentrated districts, where over 75% of students are either white or non-white. We believe that improving education equity is a big step in bringing cultural unity to society. Children, teens, and individuals with disabilities who do not have access to quality education should be given the opportunity to learn and develop. And providing materials such as Khan Academy and EPIC, as well as creative education and other extracurricular classes, not only assist in our students' learning and development, but also encourage them to explore different activities and enhance their talents outside of the classroom. An efficient way to resolve cultural and societal boundaries is to engage activities among diverse individuals within the group. Individuals will become more accustomed to a variety of environments and will be able to increase their capacity to cope with various kinds of people if a diversity of cultures are mixed together. And as you know, our organization has always worked to create and provide opportunities for people from various cultural backgrounds, and GiveChance will always help people with few means, regardless of their cultural or social backgrounds.
So what is Give Chances currently doing? Give Chances provides various learning opportunities for children, youth, and people with disabilities who do not have access to quality education. As all of you already know, us volunteers together are currently providing a free of charge after-school program for students from low-income families to narrow the gap. And some of you might not already know that we also organize public events, such as street promotions, to spread word of our program and increase awareness of education equity in our community. This past November, actually, me and the board members and other volunteers made goodie bags containing information about Give Chances, and these goodie bags were handed out on the streets of Palisades Park. There are pictures on the next slide. It would be great if more volunteers can join us for future events. We had a lot of fun together while spreading the word about our program, and we ate good food afterwards. Basically, our mission is to help minimize the learning gap for students of today's society. We strive to work together beyond cultures and social barriers to provide quality education for all. The next slide goes into more detail about our after-school program and public events.
To resolve the current flaws present within educational equity, so far, Give Chances offers free programs for students, such as homework support and math and English enrichment, so that low-income families would be provided with equal educational opportunities. As mentioned earlier, Give Chances hosts street promotions, allowing more people to become aware of this organization and acknowledge how they can contribute to solving the issues of education equity. Additionally, these promotions inform parents of the opportunities that are completely free and accessible to their children. Give Chances also provides jobs for artists with disabilities as a way of revealing their talent to the public and allowing them to feel included and appreciated despite the ongoing stigma within society. So what can we take from the progress of Give Chances? By considering the numerous programs and activities that Give Chances already offers, it is evident that they strive to resolve any flaws present within education equity. Furthermore, Give Chances seeks to provide as many equal learning opportunities as possible, secures student satisfaction, and strives to ensure that all students feel equal. However, there still remains a further step in achieving education equity, ultimately leaving it up to the volunteers to help contribute.
What can volunteers specifically do to strive towards educational and societal equity? Every student has various ways of learning and communication. One student might be a verbal learner and appreciates a conversation about his or her day, while the other might be a visual learner and appreciates writing about their experiences in an essay. Give Chances utilizes Healing Program Daily Progress Notes, where volunteers can take note of the attitude and behavior of the students. If there is any irregular behavior from previous tutor sessions, it is important to communicate with other staff members and volunteers to take action. Most importantly, volunteers are not simply meant for educational purposes. They are there for mentorship, guidance, and acceptance. It is very important to spread the word about the program of Give Chances so that we can work towards a better future with equal opportunities. Social media is one of the best ways for outreach by posting about the program on an Instagram story or mentioning Give Chances on your personal Facebook. Through outreach, Give Chances social media platforms will gain a larger audience and therefore a bigger impact on the community. In addition, there are many high school students who are looking to volunteer at a developed program for experience and volunteer hours. Volunteers can ask the school staff to announce a volunteer opportunity on Google Classroom to let classmates know about the program. Lastly, volunteers must educate themselves and others about the importance of educational equality and how Give Chances strives towards fulfilling that goal. Thank you. Are there any questions?